Hey, this is Oliver Luck, and you're listening to the XFL Extra Point Podcast.
Since the day you saved my soul, you've been proving this is the
Hey, what's going on, guys? Episode 13 of the XFL Extra Point. I'm Justin. I'm here with Thomas. Thomas, say something so people know you exist.
Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant.
R.I.P. Sad day in the sports world. I mean,
Yes.
It was hella rough because I was like, man, we're an XFL thing, right? We do XFL, and I stay on that Twitter, and it was like, I don't even care about the XFL right now.
Yep.
I was like, I don't really, like, all sports stuff just seemed irrelevant.
Yep.
That wasn't Kobe stuff, so, thoughts go out to his family, his wife, his kids. It's sad that him and his daughter went, so
Yeah.
it's sad, and
yeah.
we're thinking about their family and people who were touched by Kobe. He's a sports icon. It's like it goes outside of basketball. Like, we're basketball fans, we like basketball, but like sports and even outside of sports, like
He's
everyone knew
basically
who Kobe was.
he's a cultural icon of the early 2000s for sure.
For sure. So rough. If you guys notice, we're doing this it's coming out on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
We had done that because today the 52-man rosters came out, and we're recording this on a Monday. 52-man rosters came out, so we wanted to push it back so we could have all that information, because today we're doing our final predictions for the 2020 season of the XFL. So, do you feel like you've learned enough over the course of our, 15 different episodes, 16 different episodes now?
I feel as if I know enough to make educated guesses that will probably be wrong.
Yeah. I remember our first episode.
Yeah.
It was like, man, we were just going through the draft, and I was saying shit, and you kind of knew who the players were, like some of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
And at this point, I feel like I know so many more players I didn't know about.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we made predictions. Did we make predictions on that episode, or was it the next episode?
No, we made predictions on that episode, and I think for sure I'm going to 180. Not 180, but they're going to be vastly different.
I don't think mine are all that different, even though I've learned so much.
Wasn't your defensive MVP Obum Gwacham?
Yeah,
Okay.
which we're not going to talk about that in news, but I'll mention it here briefly.
Okay.
He got put on injured reserve. So
Yes.
It was Obum Gwacham, and my MVP, I think, was Landry Jones.
I think that was also my MVP. I'm going to do a
spoiler,
sneaky comeback.
That's neither of our MVPs
Yes.
this time around. So.
Yes. You don't. Yeah, for sure.
So today, final 2020 predictions, news and notes as usual. If you guys haven't yet, if you guys listen to the show and you want to support us, you can go over to our Twitter at XFL Extra Point. Follow us there. We post a lot of shit that's not. We promote our podcast when it comes out, so that's good to hop over there. But I tweet on there a lot about other shit too, and XFL related or not.
I have one tweet on there that's mine. Just one.
You do have one tweet.
Yes.
Can you hear my dog barking?
I cannot hear your dog barking. Well, now I can, but it's not a big deal.
Well, hopefully y'all can't hear my dog barking.
We're both dog owners, so we both understand. My dog's been rustling around in the background, so.
So follow us on Twitter at XFL Extra Point. You can DM us there, ask questions. You can also send us an email, gmail.com. It's extrapointcontact@gmail.com. Let me check that email right quick.
Let's check the vast emptiness of that inbox.
Yeah, let's see. Sometimes they're surprised in here. My dog is going crazy right now.
I can hear it, but it's really not a big deal.
So we actually have a question.
Oh my
questions.
God, bro.
We have 4
Bro, are
questions.
you fucking for real?
Yeah. So,
Dude.
Isn't that crazy?
Let's do it.
Shout out to let me mess up this name here. Shout out to Joe Geiger from Minnesota.
What a cool guy.
So he has a couple questions about the XFL season.
Let's
We're
do
getting
it.
close, so
Let's do it.
first question. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What matchups are you most looking forward to, purely on the basis of uniforms?
Ooh.
He says, I think the annual trip that the Battlehawks make to DC will be easy on the eyes.
That is a
So he's
fantastic
thinking
question.
Battlehawks and DC, and those are both fantastic uniforms. They're
Yes.
very simple, clean ones.
Yes, for sure. That's a fantastic
let's
question.
see.
That's a great question.
let's see. I do like how simple the DC ones are. Mm-hmm. I like the DC white uniforms too.
Yep.
And so a white v black matchup.
Yep.
Which the Wildcats, they're a black centric team. So I think DC so DC at Wildcats.
Yeah.
Would be nice for me. I like both those uniforms.
I agree with that as well. Just because I really dig the very, very clean white DC uniforms, but I also really like the home LA uniforms. So I think that's a good pick. If I had to pick a different one,
who else has some nice uniforms?
I do like the New York Guardians uniforms besides the helmet, as we've gone over.
Yeah, that's an all-black team too.
Yeah, it's really hard to fuck up black, honestly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who has the best away uniforms.
I'll tell you, no Renegades game will make this list because unfortunately their uniforms are a doo-doo.
Same with the Roughnecks.
I'm sorry, I meant to say Roughnecks.
I also think the Renegades are bad too.
Maybe that was a Freudian slip.
So sadly, both of those teams.
Both of those.
But I'm going to go LADC.
LADC.
I like the Battlehawks one.
Yeah, that's a really solid choice.
You know what? I like the Dragons uniform too a lot.
Yeah, Seattle's really not that bad of a uniform, honestly. Like the color combo is actually quite nice. In the way they did it.
Here's a reverse though.
All right.
Dragons at Vipers would be ugly because there'd be too much green.
There would be too much green. Now, Vipers, if it's their away their home uniforms, which actually are better than I thought they would be. If they played like, I don't know. I think that'd just be a good contrast. If they played like a darker color based team that didn't have any green in it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I think that'd be a good contrast.
Okay, let's go on to the second question. We've got
Right,
4
great
questions
question.
here. So
let's hit them all. Let's do it.
Okay, when do you think ABC or ESPN will get on XFL social media scene? Fox has been in the lead, so of course we've seen Fox has their XFL Fox page on Twitter. Haven't seen anything from ESPN or ABC. I don't think we're going to see anything from ABC.
Yeah.
I think we'll see stuff from ESPN through their official page.
Yes.
Like, check out but I don't know if we'll see an XFL ESPN page specifically. I think Fox may be the only one with that. I think we'll see more ESPN stuff coming straight from the ESPN page.
Yeah, we'll see like SC top 10 plays. If they still do SportsCenter top 10 plays? I haven't watched SportsCenter in forever. Yeah, golly, whatever. We'll see plays here and there and stuff like that. I don't think there's going to be like a XFL on ESPN Twitter page or anything like that.
We've seen commercials.
Yes, that's true. But yeah.
Yeah, I think ESPN will get in as soon as the season starts with highlights and stuff.
Yes.
So, okay. Next question.
Let's do it.
Okay, number 3. What attendance/viewership would be seen as a win for kickoff weekend? Ooh, that's a tough one.
So
we know Oliver Luck said 10,000 was his goal for a game in attendance. Now, that sounds kind of low. Kickoff weekend, I think you just want to hit 10,000 and hope it builds.
Yeah.
Viewership, I don't know enough about viewership numbers.
Yeah, I don't know about TV ratings.
It's going to be less than... All right, you're not going to get this reference, Thomas.
Okay. You just
AEW, which is a wrestling promotion.
I know what AEW is.
Of this wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, so they average, I think, somewhere around 700,000.
Okay.
If you can get 700,000 for the whole weekend, that'd be good.
I think
that's what you want to be aiming for.
Yes, in terms of live audience, so it doesn't look empty on TV. I know that's not a number or anything, but as long as it looks like people are there, I think that's what's most important. Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you can, I don't know what the NFL numbers are. I'm sure they're insane. I think if you can get, this is an uninformed opinion, but if you can get even close to 15 or 20% of that, I think that's a W.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Last question.
Here we go.
How much could the XFL expand and still serve as a schedule complement, not competition with the NFL? So they're saying how much could they expand before they're not, because their goal was not to compete with the NFL.
Yeah.
Their goal is to be, a complement. They're kind of a feeder system. They don't want to say that. That's what they are. Their slogan when they first started back in 2001 was competing. They're no longer competing. They just want to be a spring league.
Yes.
So you can't expand the season, I think, too much. You're going to have to keep it at 10 games.
Well, I think, is he talking about expanding the season or is he talking about like adding teams?
it's expanded anyway. So how I would break it down into two. I'd say you don't expand the season, you stay at 10 games, but adding teams is fine. I think you could add teams and it not be a problem.
I don't know. I don't think you can have too many more teams. Obviously, if there's like a major city that is begging for it, like like they already have 2 Texas teams,
Chicago.
but a team in San Antonio, a team in Chicago, maybe. But also, I think you want to keep the teams. I think 12 teams max.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. 12 is where you could get to.
Yeah, I think like 14 would be pushing it because then I feel like you kind of spread yourself.
You wouldn't
too
have
thin.
enough talent either. Probably.
Yeah, and I think you just spread yourself too thin financially and with talent and all that. So yeah.
Okay. Well, shout out to Joe Geiger.
Yeah, great questions.
Our first person who asked questions, and he had 4 of them.
Yeah, and those were there 3 or 4?
We have another question.
Oh shit!
This one's from Ryan Havey.
All right.
So he said, "So I heard no one was asking questions.
Yeah,
hopefully we can
you were
help
right.
each other out. Me and some friends are starting an XFL fantasy league. How do you think XFL fantasy strategy compares and contrasts the NFL? Do receivers hold more value than running backs? What kind of game plan should we keep in mind from different offensive strategies throughout the league?" Okay, so we did a fantasy episode last week.
We did.
And so you could go check that out, but we'll touch on it here.
Yes.
So how do you think XFL fantasy strategy compare and contrast the NFL? We talked about the quarterbacks. That was the big one for me,
Yes.
right? Quarterbacks, you don't take them early in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You don't take them till the late rounds. In a league like this, where you're probably, if you're doing it QB rooms like we talked about, there's only 8. So I think you go ahead and you grab one early.
Yes.
I think you have to grab one in the first 3 rounds if you want to get one of the top ones, because there is a big drop off. Like
God,
Dragons are rough, but Cardale, Landry Jones, or just the Renegades of DC Defenders, you're in good hands there, and those could warrant a top 3 round picks.
Yes.
Do you have anything?
I agree with that.
NFL?
I would say, so I'm under. See, all right. So I have a controversial opinion about running backs, even in fantasy, about how they don't particularly matter that much unless they're like one of the top performers. But I feel in the XFL, I think running backs will kind of get more of a look, but I also think that there'll be more committees than anything else. So that being said, I don't think running backs are going to be very important to XFL fantasy whatsoever, just because there'll be so many kind of committee players from what I think.
Right.
Now, I'm an idiot, so maybe that's wrong. Also, it's kind of impossible to have like any more than an 8-man league, huh?
Yeah, unless you. Well, no, it's pretty much impossible.
Yeah,
to have any
because
more
you
than an
can't
8-man
have
league.
like a quarterback that gets you 0. So
So
fuck.
when you say you and your friends are working on starting an XFL fantasy league, limit it to 8.
Yep,
You're gonna have a
definitely,
hard
for sure.
time with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
If you don't, and defenses.
And
It's gonna be
defense,
impossible.
Yeah, literally impossible.
So
Yeah, no
you have
way.
to do.
Yeah.
You have to do 8-man. The other thing I'd say here, handcuff every running back, because of the committees.
Yeah, that's another
what
different
game
thing. You're
plans,
right.
different offensive strategies throughout the league. I've said for a long time that this is going to be a pass-happy league.
Yes.
So you want to get, a variety. You can grab a wide receiver from every team and be okay.
Yes.
I think it's not so much like we debate ourselves, like Jeff Bidet and Jazz Ferguson. Like you could have both of those guys in your league and be super successful. You could probably have both those guys on your team and be super successful.
Yes.
So that's just something to keep in mind. There's also a lot of versatile guys. I don't know how they're gonna add that in, like running backs, like what's his name? What's his name? The guy on the Vipers.
Quentin Flowers.
Quentin Flowers, who's going to probably throw a touchdown pass here or there, run the ball, and catch the ball sometimes. How does that factor into fantasy? You're going to have to see how your league scoring does that, but keep that in mind. So, boom. Questions.
Awesome questions.
I'm excited
Yes.
that we're getting questions now.
Yes,
So thank you guys so much. It's Joe Geiger and Ryan Havey.
Yes.
So shouts out to you guys. Keep asking questions. We love it.
Yeah.
How long did we spend answering questions? Because that just added content to the show.
Yeah.
Or 15 minutes.
Yeah,
didn't even get
those
to the
were
intro.
all fantastic questions, by the way.
They were actually
that was great.
fantastic questions. Okay. I think I plugged everything.
Yes.
I didn't plug our YouTube channel, but go. We've been saying it for weeks. Go to our YouTube channel. The podcasts go up on there.
Yep.
So shouts out. to anyone who's on there and subscribed.
Yep, there's stuff coming.
There's more stuff coming. We have something in the works right now coming out. So keep an eye out. Stay tuned. But anyway, let's get to our news and notes drop. Boom.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right, first story. So last week we had our first somewhat game action happen. We had 4 preseason games go on last week. So how about that? So we saw the Houston Roughnecks versus the LA Wildcats. We saw the Renegades versus the Battlehawks. We saw the Vipers versus the Guardians. And we saw the Defenders versus the Dragons. So I wrote down some notes here of what happened in those games, and I'll go briefly through them. We'll talk about them one at a time here. Start with the Roughnecks and the Wildcats. Final score of that game, Wildcats came out on top 23-18. So the two teams combined for 41 points and 600 yards of total offense. The Roughnecks scored first with a field goal. Trey McBride scored a touchdown for the Wildcats, and they were able to convert for the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Walker took the lead back. He hit Sam Mobley for a 25-yard touchdown. And he hit him short, and he ran the distance, so it wasn't a completion in the end zone. But they failed to convert the extra point. Connor Cook made some plays. He found Khalil Lewis open down the sideline for a 55-yard touchdown. So I've been saying since I went to that practice that Connor Cook can sling it.
Yes.
This man can sling it. And here's the surprise for me from this game. Chad Kanoff threw for 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
One to Nelson Spruce. And that ultimately won them the game. So
yes. Big
show out for Chad Kanoff in that game, seeing as they only scored 23 points. You can assume Chad Kanoff, with his 2 touchdowns, contributed a lot to that. So what do you think? What do you take from that?
So actually, after last episode where we went over the trade for Chad Kanoff, I did a little more research. Of course, I'm not able to find I found all the tape, bro. Chad Kanoff went to a very, very tiny school, and it kind of seems like he was like the big baller of whatever division he was in or whatever. He's got an NFL frame. He apparently has got the goods and everything. So we were initially kind of like, who the fuck is Chad Kanoff? But I feel like this guy might be just a diamond that gets overlooked due to him playing at a much, much lower level than most NFL guys. So,
and maybe I was wrong. And literally when this came out, because then why is his name blanking on me? The fucking Wildcats head coach, because I love him. Winston Moss.
Winston
yes. Moss, he came out and said something like, lots of people are giving a shit about the trade. I'm talking to you, Justin.
Fuck you, nerds.
Lots of you were talking shit about the trade, but people ain't going to be talking shit now. Something to that effect. He didn't say those words exactly. But Chad Kanoff, so he had a good day. Maybe they do have someone to replace, because I said Josh Johnson probably is only a one-season guy.
Probably.
Maybe Chad Kanoff's the next guy up, and he'll do a good job just based on this. Now, we got to see. It's a preseason game. People are still learning how to play in this new league with all the new rules, but good for Chad Kanoff. I'm just never shitting on the guy.
Good for
Didn't know anything
good for
about
old Chad.
Yeah, good for Chad. There's not enough Chads in the world.
There's not enough Chads that are not. See, Chad has a bad rap, even though
There's not enough Chads you can root for.
I don't think I've ever met. But do you know any Chads that are douches?
My uncle's name's Chad.
Yeah,
I've never met a Chad that's a douche.
I've never met a
only
Chad.
Met one Chad.
Exactly. But besides your uncle, I don't think I've ever met a single Chad.
All right, let's move on.
Yes.
Dallas Renegades, St. Louis Battlehawks. Final score was 25-22 Renegades, but without OT, it was 21-18. So they did add an OT period just to test out that format.
Mm-hmm.
So the real score was 21-18, and they went to OT and ended up 25-22.
Mm-hmm.
So both teams scored 4 times on the overtime period.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So Philip Nelson got the start with Landry Jones hurt.
Interesting.
He led 3 touchdown drives, but he scored on 2 of them. The other one was a run. So he completed 1 pass for a touchdown to Sammy Cobbs and Jazz Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm sick.
Yes.
Jazz Ferguson beat his defender to find an open spot in the back corner of the end zone. And then Cobbs also got a back corner catch, but his was a one-handed snag. Cobbs also was able to make another end zone catch in overtime. So
Yes.
Cobbs had a big day.
Yes.
Renegades defense. Calvin Jonathan. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to have to cough this out.
That's okay. I had my episodes where I had to cough it out. You're good.
For the Renegades defense, Calvin Jonathan was able to pick off Brogan Roback. So they got a pick. Jordan Tamu for
My boy.
the Battlehawks. He got a score on the board because he hit his tight end, Cole Hunt, in the back corner of the end zone. So a lot of back corner of the end zone passes going on here.
Mm-hmm.
In the second half, Taylor Heineken was able to hit Damon Peterson in the end zone off an off-balance pass. And then the Battlehawks were able to also get a pick 6 from their linebacker, Matthew Thomas. So
Yes.
it looks like the Renegades defense and the Battlehawks defense did pretty well. Jordan Tamu, apparently the starter for the time being, though Taylor Heineke, it's still competition there.
Yep.
So I don't know.
One thing I want to say, I did not know Simi Cobbs Jr. was on the Renegades. I was a big fan of Simi coming out of Indiana, I believe, and I think he was one of the first players that when I first started following like the NFL draft, like I like him. So the Renegades are so loaded at receiver, it's ridiculous. That's
Yeah.
all I'll really say about that. They have
There's,
an
in
absurd
general,
amount.
there's so much wide receiver talent.
Yes, but
in
the
the
just the
XFL.
at least names that I'm familiar with, they have an absurd amount that I'm familiar with. So
Jazz Ferguson, who's also
Jazz
fantastic.
Ferguson, Jeff Bidet,
Jeff Bidet, Simi Cobbs.
Simi Cobbs.
So
like-
it's a talented it's
talented
talented over
three.
there, and they have a good system over there. So
Yes.
excited to see what they do. But overall, Renegades come away with this victory. It's closer than I thought it would have been. With 21-18, we'll go off the OT without OT. 21-18 because I think the Battlehawks are one of the lesser teams in the
All right.
XFL.
All
So
right.
maybe it worries me about my over-unders that we're going to do later in the show.
Yes.
But maybe all these games there will be more parity than I thought there would be.
Yeah.
But overall, I think Dallas Renegades are going to be a good team. They have a good defense. They have a lot of great players on their offense, a lot of great players on their defense. I think the Battlehawks are more of a potential team. They have a solid defense with a lot of experience, though their offense is what worries me. They don't have Terrence Williams anymore.
Oddly enough.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what they do. I didn't see anything about rushing touchdowns here, so I don't know how their run game did because this wasn't televised, right? This was all just from people who were there who were live tweeting it.
Yeah.
That's what we're going off here. But anyway, all right, let's move on to the next one. Tampa Bay Vipers, New York Guardians. All right. So the final was 27-15 Guardians. This one was somewhat of a blowout, and it was more garbage time than anything.
Yeah.
All right, so Colby Pearson scored the first touchdowns for the Guardians on a deep pass from Matt McGloin. Then Aaron Murray answered back with a touchdown pass to wide receiver Reese Horn. So then McGloin came right back, scored again on a deep pass to Tio Redding, who ran it in after he fell over but wasn't touched. Dispute. I saw it. It kind of looked like he was touched, but whatever. He got back up and he scored.
Oh, he was touched to me, bro.
And then it's kind of unconfirmed. We don't know. There was more touchdowns in the game. We don't know who scored them. But what I did see, I do know
So
one
weird.
of them. And that was a
Okay.
Darius Victor 15-yard TD run. That was the best highlight I've seen out of anything coming out of the XFL. And I
All right.
retweeted it. It made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, is that the stiff arm?
Yes, it was the star. So Darius Victor runs over. I don't know who the defender was. He runs over this dude, and the dude is on the ground. And as he runs by him, he leans over and he stiff arms his face back into the ground after he's already on the ground. It's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
But it's an aggressive run, so that makes me excited about Darius Victor. I like those kind of running backs. He literally ran to that contact, pulled that dude over, and then added a little insult to injury by shoving his face in the dirt.
Oh, Yutzpah.
I like that.
Yes.
27-15, it was somewhat of a blowout. Lots of field goals for the Vipers. Worries me because they have so much talent at wide receiver, but we'll see how
Maybe
that
it's
goes.
maybe it's their coach. Maybe it's
Hey, don't shit talk Mark Trestman.
all right.
I kind of like Mark Trestman.
I mean, I'm sure he's a great dude.
But anyway, Guardians surprisingly very pass heavy, and I didn't expect that. I actually wasn't expecting
Kevin
a lot out of
Gilbride.
the Guardians' offense in general.
Yeah.
So,
No.
I mean, good
Kevin
to see that
Gilbride.
they're getting their wide receivers involved.
Yep.
McGloin's solid. I didn't see anything about how Luis Perez did, if he even participated.
Isn't that so? For a second, that's just weird. I mean, like, I understand why this is like all kind of hearsay and from live tweeting information, but like
Right.
it's like this is a, I say this in the best way possible. This is the minor league of football. So it's just
that's
weird.
for sure. What's your point?
It's just weird. It's just a weird observation because, like, to me, I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking about, like, what if the NFL preseason games were like, well, we don't know what happens.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now.
I'm not comparing it or
I guess
anything.
because
It's
they
just
didn't
funny.
televise these. They should have let fans in to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird to me. But it's not a criticism or anything. It's just weird.
Well, hopefully they open it up and allow more fan access. I mean, if you had press passes and shit, you can get in.
Yeah.
So XFL, give us some press passes, please. We'll get better coverage in this, and we'll tell you all the everything that happened.
Yes.
All right, let's move on. DC Defenders versus Seattle Dragons. All right, so the final was 21-16. Defenders won. To be expected, though it was closer than you'd think, because I don't think, again, Dragons one of those bottom tier teams for me.
Yep.
Defenders one of the top teams for me. So the fact that it was close, but granted, it's like preseason. Starting players come out, so. Cardale Jones made some great throws. He had a deep comeback to Eli Rogers. He had a clutch 4th and 9 strike to Joe Walker. And he had a 19-yard TD to Jordan Westerkamp. The Defenders' defense was also on point. So they gave up 10 in the first quarter. Not great. But then for the next 3 quarters, they held the Dragons just 6. So that's good. Defenders' safety, Tyree Kinnell, was able to snag a pick 6 off Brandon Silvers. So we got to see the QB competition go on between B.J. Daniels and Brandon Silvers, and they split time. But it seems that Daniels played better in the minutes he got. Jaquan Gardner punched in a score for the Dragons on the ground, and B.J. Daniels hit Dantes Bird for a touchdown. For the Dragons' defense, linebacker Nick Temple got a pick. So that's what we're seeing.
Yep.
From what I saw, little highlights. The Dragons' defense looks abysmal. They look not great.
Well, that's
especially
great.
in coverage.
The Dragons' defense looks abysmal.
I was not impressed by the coverage. Good to see Cardale making plays.
Yep.
And Defenders' defense, if that unit can be really good, then I don't see how this team doesn't win a shit ton of games, because their offense should be one of the best. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you want to say about that? Any observations
No,
there?
I have no observations about this game or anything from that.
All right.
So
Get another cough out and move on to the next one.
that's okay.
All right, next story. So this is kind of like a repeat, but it's like more, now it's official. So St. Louis Battlehawks, Kenny Robinson, his safety, he was declared draft eligible. So last week, a game-changing moment happened for the XFL. Kenny Robinson announced on Twitter that he was in the 2020 NFL draft pool. So from now, we officially have proof that young players who don't want to play in college or can't play in college can go into the XFL and have another path, an alternative path to getting into the NFL via the draft.
Yes.
So Robinson was projected in many cases to have his name called early in the draft. Mike Renner, he's an analyst, he did a mock draft, and he had Robinson going in the first to the Dallas Cowboys. Pro Football Focus, who you hate,
I do.
also ranked Robinson highly as a coverage safety after he led the Big 12 in passer rating against. So, good player, and it's good to see. Maybe we're going to see this happen more often. We've kind of talked about this before, but now we know it's official.
Yeah.
So, okay. Moving on to the next story then.
Yes.
What's
you
good
covered
is we had a
everything
lot
there.
to talk about we had a lot to say about the preseason, and it was such
Yes.
a long-winded thing. And we had the question in the beginning, so
Yeah, questions were
fine.
great.
All right, moving on. Dragons, this is kind of a big story, right? Dragons signed former New Orleans Saints kicker Garrett Hartley. So on Friday, Garrett Hartley made his announcement as to what XFL team he is signing with, and it is the Seattle Dragons.
Wow. With the abysmal defense.
So he's been out of football for the last 5 years. He joins Nick Novak as one of the more experienced kickers in the XFL. He had a long career that saw him win a Super Bowl as a kicker with the New Orleans Saints. He's 33, spent time in college with Oklahoma. Spent 7 years in the NFL with the Saints. In college, he was one of the best kickers in the NFL. He was a good kicker.
Yes.
He converted 85 of 104 attempts in the NFL with a career long of 55. So he's a solid kicker and a good addition to this XFL league.
Yes.
Kind of
Browns
forgot
legend
Garrett
Garrett
Hartley
Hartley.
existed.
Browns legend Garrett Hartley.
Why is he a Browns legend?
Because he was on the Browns.
Was he on the Browns?
He was.
Oh.
I believe for 3 weeks.
I was like, why is that not listed here when it says he was 7 years in the NFL with the Saints? It didn't say anything about the Browns.
He was definitely on the
That
Browns.
makes sense. Huh. Well, I kind of forgot Garrett Hartley existed. Fun fact, I had a teacher in middle school who was related to Garrett Hartley.
I believe they were cousins.
Yes, they were cousins.
All right.
So, cool story. But I guess it's like I kind of want to hate Garrett Hartley.
Why? Oh, because
he
was
was part of my least favorite team in NFL history.
Okay, but
the
he was the
2009
kicker.
Saints.
they weren't Garrett. If you can kick the fuck out of it into a lineman's helmet and kill him,
They were like, Garrett, when you do the kickoff, I need you to tackle whoever's returning the ball by just shove your helmet into his ankles and end his career.
Yeah, I don't think Garrett Hartley is capable. No offense to kickers, but I don't think they were really talking to Garrett Hartley when the Bounty Gate stuff is going on.
Well, anyway, so that's a good addition. Do you have any other opinions about Garrett Hartley? I think he's a solid kicker. He's probably one of the best.
He was a solid kicker. Hopefully he's not too long in the tooth. Kickers can last forever as long as they take care of themselves. So hopefully he's been doing that, and I wish him success.
All right. Let's move on to our big chunk and the part that's more exciting. The news was not fantastic this week, but we're so close to the season starting. It's going to be so fun.
It's going to be great.
2 shows a week.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to have that football in spring. But all right.
Yes.
Speaking about football in spring, speaking about the season starting in a couple weeks, let's do our 2020 predictions. So we broke it down into a bunch of categories. A shit ton here. More than I anticipated initially, but I was like, hey, let's add some more. So I'm going to say everything we're including here. We're doing best quarterback, best wide receiver, best running back, best tight end, best D lineman, best linebacker, best defensive back, best kicker. We'll also be doing defensive MVP. We'll be doing MVP. We'll be saying who our 4 playoff teams are, what the championship game's going to be, and who the champion is going to be. We'll also do over-unders for all 8 teams. So
yes.
All right, let's get into it. We'll go. Let's have you start first this time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Best QB. No, don't go through. Okay, let me add this. Don't go through the whole list. We'll just do one thing at a time.
Best QB, 1 for 1. Okay, I got you.
Right,
so I'm going to say my pick, and then I'll say my honorable mention as well. Okay. Okay. So my pick for best quarterback in the inaugural season of the XFL is Josh Johnson of the LA Wildcats. I really like Josh Johnson. Even I knew about him before we started doing this whole XFL thing. He's been around the league. He's basically the definition of a journeyman. He has the talent to be on an NFL roster, and the Lions, I believe, tried to get him on their roster. So, I mean, he has the talent to play in the NFL. I think he'll, not easily, but I think he'll be definitely one of the best quarterbacks in the XFL in its inaugural season. My honorable mention here would be Cardale Jones, because I think he's going to be quite good as well.
Okay. So my best QB is your honorable mention.
Yes.
That's Cardale Jones.
All right, fair enough.
Obvious reasons, and we've talked about him through our 15
length.
episodes.
Yes.
He has a lot of weapons. He has a cannon arm. He's going to have a lot of highlight plays. And he may, in terms of maybe completion percentage, that might not be on par with some of these other quarterbacks. I think pure yardage, touchdowns will be up. He may not be first, but he will have so much appeal via Twitter and highlights that there will be so much hype that it'll be hard not to give the the best quarterback to him, because he's just going to be a hype beast.
Yes.
As you would
Plus,
say.
yes, he's also, in the best possible way, he's a huge goofball on Twitter.
Yes, he's very likable.
Yes, very likable. I should say it that way. Huge goofball on Twitter makes it sound like I don't like him. He's extremely likable.
Very likable.
For example, so when I was growing up, I was a University of Michigan Wolverines fan, like as a kid, and I still like Cardale Jones. So I like him a lot.
My honorable mention, I'm going to put 2 out here that could possibly be Josh Johnson, obviously. He brings rushing attack too, which is going to be interesting and might be very exciting. Also might get him some highlights going. Landry Jones, if he can, we'll see how long he's out with the injury. It's very possible he doesn't miss any time. If he doesn't, it's very, he could end up in such
if he doesn't, he's definitely up there. Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
He'll get some, yardage. All of his stats will be way up. He might
Yes.
not be the same presence online, he has a big name, but not like Cardale does. So
Yes.
that's why I'd put him behind. But all right, Cardale, best QB. Let's move on. Best what? Well, you
All
want
right.
to switch? You want to switch every time?
It's up to you, big fella.
I'll go first next.
Sure, let's do that.
All right. Best wide receiver for me. And this was kind of a new one. This wasn't someone I was considering until pretty recently, and that's Sammy Coates.
All right.
So, from when I went to that practice, he was the best player on the field in general, like from
All
both
right.
teams. Like clearly, he was just so fast. He had such great hands, which is surprising, right?
Yes.
He made some great catches. He had good body control when going up for balls. He's just a huge dude too. He looks bigger than
he's a
everyone.
big
He looks
guy.
more athletic than everyone.
Yep.
And it seems like he's going to be the number one target in a very pass-happy offense.
Yep.
And so I think he'll put up big numbers. I think best wide receiver has to go to Sammy Coates.
All right. You may or may not be hearing more about Sammy Coates in the future from our YouTube channel. Wink, wink, maybe.
Wink, wink.
All right. So, do you have any honorable mentions you want to say? Or do you want to say it after?
I mean, I could just name some that I considered. I mean, Antonio Callaway could very well do it.
Yes.
But again, it's, we'll see what
Kinda up
happens
to him.
there.
Yeah.
I could see Rashad Ross. I could see Eli Rogers. But I think Sammy Coates is the safest bet here.
All right. Well, my best wide receiver, I'm going to call it a toss-up, really, between what I believe are going to be the two main Dallas Renegade receivers, which are Jazz Ferguson and Jeff Bidet. I really hope we've been saying his name right this whole time, because if it's not Bidet, that's kind of
Bad or
embarrassing.
something.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's not listening.
But because I believe one of them will emerge as the true number one there. But I couldn't really tell you who it would be. I think either of those are going to be kind of a safe bet, if not for the best wide receiver, then up there. And I'm going to say honorable mention Nelson Spruce for the LA Wildcats. I really like what he can do, and I really think they're going to target him a lot. And I really believe in the LA Wildcats, as we'll get to later. So I think he's going to be a big part of their offense. I think he's going to have a great season.
All right. So here's the thing with Jazz Ferguson and Jeff Bidet, with both of them, is like, I'm worried that the reason I'd put Sammy Coates is because and Nelson Spruce too, is they're so clearly the number one guy.
Yeah, but
Whereas
it's like
there's
too
just
good.
there's too many good people on both the Defenders and the Renegades, who I think are both fantastic teams. They're going to have fantastic air attacks. But because the ball's going to be spread around so much, it'd be hard for me to think any one of them is going to clearly claim the role as the best.
I could definitely see that occurring. I don't think it will, because like I said, I think one will kind of come out as a top dog, but that definitely could happen, for sure. It kind of depends on who Coach Bob Stoops kind of likes more, and if he prefers like physical profile, then it'll be Jazz Ferguson. But if he prefers familiarity and like short intermediate game that you can turn into yards after the catch, he'll go Jeff Bidet. So it'll kind of be what he prefers to run as his offense in the XFL that will decide.
What
that.
if Jazz Ferguson has a shit ton of touchdowns, but Jeff Bidet has all the yards?
Then you got to look past the stats and grind the
Decide
tape.
Who's the best between them?
Grind the tape, baby.
All right, let's move on now to our best running back.
All right, so I'll go first this time,
you-
correct?
You go first.
All right, so not really diverting from our fantasy cast. My best running back choice is Cameron Artis-Payne of the Dallas Renegades. Again, I think he was criminally underrated in college. He was on the Panthers for a bit and was never really utilized because Christian McCaffrey is a thing. So I think he's still got fresh legs. I don't think he's really been beat up. I think he can replicate his success at Auburn in the XFL for sure. After our Fantasy Cast episode, I watched a little bit more on Jarrell Presley and came away very impressed. So he's my honorable mention for best running back is Jarrell Presley, but I think Cameron Artis-Payne will take the award for best running back.
All right, I'm going to go with mine is Jarrell Presley, who you just mentioned, for the same reasons, the fantasy stuff. Like, he's just going to have wide open lanes because Cardale's back there and they have such a great passing attack.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the reason I wouldn't put Cameron Artis-Payne, even though I had him as my number one in our fantasy, is there's too much risk there. If I'm actually betting on this, there's too much risk there with Cameron Artis-Payne not being the number one guy in Dallas.
Fair.
Obviously, you can see Cameron Artis-Payne, Jarrell Presley, right? They're both on great passing offenses, which seems counterproductive. But if a team has to cover the pass, it leaves a lot of wide open running lanes. I just feel like Jarrell Presley is for sure the guy there. And so that's why I'd go with Jarrell Presley for best running back. He'll put up the best numbers, in my opinion. Also was the best in the AAF. What's saying he will do that in the XFL. So
yes, in the AF.
All right. Let's move on. Best tight end. You went first, so I'll go first.
Yes.
Even though we agree here. So, but maybe our honorable mentions will be different.
Yes.
Best tight end, Nick Truesdale, and you should know this.
Yes.
If you listen to the show.
Yeah.
That we both think he's very good. Me probably more than Thomas, but
I like him.
Gigantic dude, 6'8", fast as shit, freakish. You know what worries me about him now, though, as time has gone on?
What?
Is I'm scared of how good the receivers are.
Yeah, they just might ignore him.
He might just get caught up in the mix and not be their standout guy.
Yeah.
I'd like to mention Donald Parham, same kind of physical freak as a runner-up, because he's 6'8", fast as shit, but he also has the same problem. He's on the Renegades, who have a lot of good receivers.
Yes.
So I'm all right. Who do you got? It's
All
Nick
right,
Truesdale.
so I agree that the best tight end will be Nick Truesdale. I think even if maybe statistically he doesn't put up the best numbers for a tight end, I think he'll be the best tight end that plays on the field. Because stats aren't everything. Gosh darn it. But I think an honorable mention would be E.J. Bibbs of the New York Guardians.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Especially because the Guardians wide receivers are kind of underwhelming to me.
And D'Angelo Yancey's on IR.
Yes, and E.J. Bibbs fits. Has a very nice athletic profile. He's an athletic tight end that can still be a bruiser. So I think he's just kind of your all-around guy, kind of jack of all trades that I think will be utilized a lot. So I really like E.J. Bibbs. If I had to bet statistically who'd have the best season, I would say E.J. Bibbs over Nick Truesdale. But if I think who's going to be the best player according to the tape, I'm going to say Nick Truesdale. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think E.J. Bibbs has the most opportunity here.
Yes.
But I do think Nick Truesdale, even if, I still think he's one of the best receivers on that team.
Yeah.
So he's a guy to highlight for sure.
For sure.
All right, let's move on to best D lineman. You're going first here.
All right, so I'm going to go with Anthony Johnson of the LA Wildcats as my pick. He's kind of already, in things I've read, been kind of the defensive leader of that team. He's an athletic freak. He can probably play every position on the defensive line, which is insane to think about. But he can definitely do it. He's a little older, but I think he's perfect for the XFL. My runner-up for this, and I actually, looking at this now, I'm not sure if he'll play at outside linebacker or defensive end. I think he might kind of divvy between. He'll be a rush end or a rush linebacker. But Andrew Ankra for the St. Louis Battlehawks. Dude has all the talent in the world. Just needs refinement. Excuse me, hold on.
Ooh, we're all going to
I'm just dehydrated. Eddie Hall, I'm big dehydrated. You don't know who Eddie Hall is, never mind.
Nope.
Okay, he's a big strong man. Anyway, Andrew Ankra has all the talent in the world. He just needs coaching and refinement, and he's still so young. I think his potential's sky high. So, but I really do like Anthony Johnson of the LA Wildcats. I think he's going to be awesome.
Here's some analysis that has nothing to do with play. Anthony Johnson has a good look.
A good look about him? You're saying he's handsome?
Well, not handsome. He looks scary, but like in a good way.
He looks intimidating.
I think women like him, but like
right.
I don't want to fuck with him.
You know,
he's got a strong look about him.
I actually don't know what he looks like. So I'm
and he's got nice facial hair. He's got a nice
facial
beard.
hair. You think he's cute, don't you?
All right, my D lineman.
Oh, I see what you mean. He is pretty handsome.
All right, my D lineman, Kony Ealy.
All right.
He's a beast for the Roughnecks.
Yes.
So he, lots of people know who Kony Ealy is. He was the NFL draft prospect.
This is a first-round pick, wasn't he?
I think he ended up going in the second.
Okay.
He was projected to be a possible first round, but I think he went 60th.
60th? Oh, okay, cool. So, yeah, definitely second.
With the Panthers. He spent 3 seasons with the Panthers, and he's just...
The Panthers.
He's interesting because he has a lot of athleticism, he has a lot of power, and he's one of the bigger names. A lot of people know who he is. I think he's going to be exciting to watch. So I put Kony Ealy in there. I think the Roughnecks overall have a really good defense. And so Kony Ealy on that D-line will be a force to be reckoned with. I think he'll rack up a lot of sacks. I think he'll get a good amount of tackles for loss. I think because of his name, he'll get more hype. And, I believe hype helps these cases for being the best.
Yes.
Because when you're only the best when everyone says you're the best. So that's the truth. Because if you only, the majority has to think you're the best, you're not the best.
I disagree.
That's just wrong.
Because I'm right and everyone else is wrong.
The most people have to think you're the best to be the best. And I think having hype means more people think you're the best. So, all right.
Fair.
That's why Kony Ealy. Honorable mention. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, so there's no honorable mention here.
All right. No worries.
All right,
so
moving on. Best linebacker. You went first, so...
Yes.
You went first last time?
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going first. All right, this is my other boy. This is a guy I like a lot. It is Ealy for the Renegades. He is a stud pass rusher at the outside linebacker position. I thought I was going to put him at DN because I thought he might have played DN, but he actually plays outside linebacker. But he is actually pretty good in coverage. He played outside linebacker in the NFL. So he's decent in coverage, but he's a beast pass rusher, and he's a beast run stopper. I think he is just so... I think his talent... This might sound mean. His talent is ahead of where he is right now. He should not be.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
I think he is an NFL caliber player who should be playing in the NFL, who got derailed by injury and is forced to play one season in the XFL and then will likely go back because he has a shit ton of talent, or as he did before injury.
Yes.
So if he bounces back, I see him absolutely dominating like every down.
Okay.
And the offensive line talent isn't going to be able to keep up with how talented he is. I think he's going to absolutely wreak havoc on every play. He doesn't have the name value, but I think he's going to rack up so many important stats in terms of sacks, tackles for loss, tackles. So I just think he, as a pass rusher alone, I think he'll get up there as the best linebacker.
All right.
Yeah,
I will say...
No, I don't have any honorables.
Okay, cool.
I wasn't like you.
I will say, if this was... that's fine. If this was a best kind of pass rush award, I think Halui... Oh, God. I'm so sorry.
Kikaha.
Haoli Kikaha. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I think he'd probably be my number one for the reasons you stated. But since this is his best linebacker award, I have to go with my son, Scooby Wright, for the DC Defenders. He's so instinctive. He's just crazy college stats. I think he's going to be so good in the XFL. I think he's going to be the Mike linebacker for the Defenders because I don't think he's quite fast enough for the NFL, but I think he's going to be the Mike backer for the Defenders forever, or as long as the league is around. Yes.
That's cool. I like rooting for guys who are going to stick around.
Yes. So Scooby Wright and Kikaha would be my honorable mention.
Can I point out that you have his name as Halui Kaka here?
Yes. Well, that was more for me to just type it quick and remember. Because I know who I'm talking about, but I obviously put his name wrong.
All right, let's move on to best DB.
All right, best DB. I think this one is a layup. Darren Smith, Dallas Renegades.
Yeah.
He's super good. He was super good in the AF. He has NFL level talent. He's just a little small. Honorable mention is Will Hill, who again was super good, or not super good, but like he was good in the NFL. He was a starter for the Ravens for sure. So I mean, he's definitely has the talent. He might be getting a little long in the tooth, but I mean, I think he's actually close to the same age as Darren Smith, if not a little younger. So that's a stupid thing of me to say just then. So forget I said that. So Will Hill is good. Darren Smith is good. I'm gonna have to give the edge to Darren Smith.
All right, for me, Jamar Summers. Right?
Ah, you bitch.
The Guardians are gonna have a great defense.
Yep.
He's gonna be an important piece of that defense.
Yep.
He's super fluid. He has super good movement with his hips. He has good read and react. He's good at playing the ball in the air. He's a good ball hawk. I think he's just overall like a very solid shutdown corner.
Yep.
He'll probably be one of the. Well, I said he's going to be the best corner. I said he was going to be one of, but he's going to be the best corner in my opinion.
All right.
He's on a defense that has a very solid linebacking core and a very solid defensive line, which always helps when you're in coverage because they have to get the ball out. He'll be able to rack up cool amount of interceptions. He was good in the AF, as you would say.
In the AF, yes.
So that's why I like Jamar Summers. I'd also mention Darren Smith because he was also good in the AF, and he has a lot of the same characteristics. He's he's just very solid in coverage, and I do like Wilhelm. But yeah, I don't have any other runners up for that, so let's move on.
All right.
To best kicker.
Best kicker.
All right. My best kicker. Do we agree here? Let me look. We do. My best kicker is Nick Novak. Right. I considered putting Garrett Hartley here, but because they're kind of on the same level. But I think Nick Novak hasn't had as much time off as Garrett Hartley has, so that's why Nick Novak gets the edge. Super experienced. This should be, when you deal with fucking 70,000 fans yelling at you, this should be no problem. Hopefully he's still as solid as a kicker as he's been throughout his career. And as he gets older, it hasn't declined. But mentally, he should be there. Let's just hope the leg and everything is still as good as it once was.
Yes. Yeah. Best kicker, Nick Novak. Not to sound standoffish, but it's a kicker. And that's only to say that, like, you're going to go with the proven names here. Like, there's not going to be a guy who we don't know who we're going to do, like, oh, let's go watch him kick extra points and stuff, because, I mean, it's a kicker. You're not going to know until the season starts, really. So we're just kind of going off name talent. So,
no extra points, though, so it's all
hold your horses, sir.
Okay.
So, I'm going to tell you where you fucked up, all right?
Where did I fuck up?
You did not include a best OL prediction, all right?
Oh, okay.
There's no best O-line.
Right, let's throw it in there.
So, I'm ready to go with mine. Yeah, you messed up, son. We both played O-line in high school. Come on, bro.
We did.
All right.
Who's your best O-lineman?
Best O-lineman, familiar name that we've talked about before on the show. My son on the LA Wildcats, Patrick Vahi or Vahi or Vai.
Yeah, he's good.
Yes. I think he's a super athletic guard. I think really the offensive line unit for the Wildcats as a whole is quite impressive, honestly. They have a lot of names that at least jump off the page to me. Storm Norton being another one, but I like Patrick Vahi a lot. So, best O-line, Patrick Vahi. Honorable mention, like I said, probably Storm Norton, who was also on the Wildcats. So
yeah, well, you shouldn't have said that. My pick, Storm Norton, gigantic dude, 6'8".
yeah,
he knows how to use his length. He's good at pass blocking and run blocking.
Yep.
So, I just think he'll be good. I've said it before. We said the Wildcats, or I said it on Twitter, and the Wildcats liked it.
Their offensive line unit's pretty
that's
good.
like my favorite offensive line unit in the XFL. So I keep wanting to say NFL.
I know. I've almost done that like 3 times. Yeah, it's hard because that's just what your mind is conditioned to do.
But yeah, so Storm Norton. Here's with Patrick Vahi. We like Vahi.
I'm gonna say I don't know, but I think it's Vi because he's Samoan or Tongan or Polynesian, so I think that's how you pronounce that.
Okay, so last minute addition to our list of the best linemen. So Storm Norton and Patrick.
Shout out.
All right, let's move on.
Yes.
Moving on to our defensive MVP pick. And so I put these right after because these are probably going to include names from that list we just said, so we don't have to talk about them too much. But my defensive MVP is Haluiki Kaha.
All right.
Same reasons why he's the best linebacker. Super pass rush. Sacks get you MVPs.
Yep,
that's just how it works.
That is correct.
And he's going to have the most sacks in the XFL. So that's why he's my defensive MVP. Who's yours?
All right. So mine is Anthony Johnson, LA Wildcats. I think he'll also rack up some pretty solid stats, and I don't know. I think he's going to be super good.
He has good facial hair too.
Yeah, he's very handsome.
All right, let's move on to MVP. This one we disagree on.
Yes.
So MVP for me is Cardale Jones. It's the same reason. Best quarterback. I mean, he's just got so much name recognition. He's going to have a lot of big plays. Name recognition gets you MVPs. MVP is a hype reward. So he's going to have
Yes.
the most hype because he's going to have the biggest plays.
Yes.
And he's a big name. And he's a big dude.
He's a large man.
So that's why MVP goes to Cardale Jones for me.
All right. Kind of the same reasons or the same logic, I guess, that you pick Cardale Jones. I picked Josh Johnson as my MVP pick. I think he'll be the best quarterback in the league, and the best quarterback in the league usually wins MVP. That's going off of NFL rules, of course, but I feel like
it could be different here.
Yeah, it could be different here, I suppose, because I don't really know who's voting. Are they going to have awards like this?
We don't know.
I mean, I assume they would, but whatever. Whatever. I mean, whatever. Yeah, whatever 3 times. That's right. Take that, dude who said I only say one word.
Can I say something about the MVP? If they do an MVP award, they should definitely just go completely different and give it to an offensive lineman or some shit.
I would love that.
Or a kicker.
That will never happen to a league that is trying to get mainstream.
That gets you mainstream. You make a fucking offensive
It gets you
lineman,
mainstream
everyone's
for about
talking
5
what the
minutes.
fuck? Your MVP was fucking Willie Beavers.
Willie Beavers.
I don't even know if he's still. I don't think he's in the XFL anymore.
Oh, poor Willie Beavers.
But yeah, they should give it to someone who's not a quarterback.
Damian Mama.
I mean, even if they did it to he's also. I don't think. Is he still?
Oh, both of our joint sons.
There was another one who has a cool name.
Well, I know Justin Thomas is gone.
Yeah, there was one. His name was David DeBeers. Or something
Oh,
like that.
Gerhard. It was Gerhard De Beers, I think.
Yeah, Gerhard, something like that. But all the
Yeah.
cool names are getting out of the XFL.
Yeah.
But
Damn.
all right,
Rough.
let's move on to our next little discussion here. We're gonna pick our playoff teams, and then we'll do our over/unders. Because if we do our over/unders first, it kind of spoils.
Yes.
So our playoff teams for me, out of the Western which one's West? Which one's East? Oh, okay, out of the Western Conference, for me is going to be the Renegades and the Roughnecks. Who's your Western Conference teams?
For me, it is the Renegades and the Battlehawks.
So we're both picking the Renegades, and for pretty obvious reasons.
Yes.
They have just a fantastic offense, and they have fantastic defensive players. They have my boy Halui Kikaha. I mean, they're all around just a very talented
loaded.
team.
Yeah.
I think the surprising thing is going to be our second team. So I picked the Roughnecks. I think the Roughnecks are actually really good too.
Yeah.
Their running game leaves some to be desired, but if they don't have the best passing game in the XFL, I'd be surprised. Even with all those weapons, I really think Sammy Coates is going to be like the Julio Jones of the XFL.
All right. Okay. I mean, that's not so outlandish to say.
And I think they have solid quarterbacks in either Connor Cook or Phillip Walker.
Yeah.
They have a very solid defense. They have a scheme that I think is just a good scheme and it's going to work at this level. So that's why I put the Roughnecks there. I actually think they're going to get a fair amount of wins. And this isn't just bias because they're my team. I literally just think they're just a very good team.
Yes.
And who was your other team? It was...
Battlehawks, sir.
Did you say the Wildcats?
No. Oh, wait a minute. Is it I'm in the wrong division? Fuck.
See, this is Thomas River where I said you should put them together.
You're right. Well, but I did put them together. Oh, fuck. All right. Never mind. LA Wildcats. Yep.
All right, so your teams are Dallas and the Wildcats for the
That is
Western
correct.
Conference. So why do you have the Wildcats going?
I think they're super good. I think they're going to be super good. I think they have the personnel to make a deep run, and I think they're real good.
I'm going to argue that with you later when we go over our over-unders.
That's fine.
But, okay, so you think the Wildcats... Just give me one reason.
They have a
makes the
super
Wildcats
strong
so good.
offensive line unit, and I think Josh Johnson... I think when you have good quarterbacks, you win. So...
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's move on to our Eastern Conference teams that are making the
Yes,
playoffs.
one has already been spoiled due to my incompetence.
Mine's the Vipers and the Defenders. Yours is...
Mine are the Defenders and the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yeah. So we both agree Defenders. That makes sense. For the same reason the Renegades made sense. Overall, very solid team. Thing I'd worry about with the Defenders is their defense isn't quite as good as the Renegades' defense. They do have a lot of talent, though, so it's not that their defense is bad. It's not on the same level as the Renegades. But their offense, I think, is better than the Renegades, and I think that makes up for it. So, Defenders are a fantastic team. We can both agree why they're there. Same reasons why you have them there?
Yep.
All right, so this is where the controversy comes in.
Yes.
So I have the Vipers making it, and when we get into over-unders, you'll see that this is weird. But I have the Vipers making it. I think out of these 4 teams, they are the worst team here by far.
Yeah.
They will get eliminated. They will get destroyed by the Defenders, likely.
Yes.
But they do have a lot of talent at wide receiver. Their offense can definitely be good. It could be one of the better offenses. I think their defense is pretty lacking. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, can I name a Vipers defender?
Isn't PJ Locke?
He's not. I don't think he's in the XFL anymore.
Golly. Dropping like
So,
flies.
The Vipers' defense is a little questionable. But their offense should be good, and it should be one of the better offenses just because of all the talent they have at wide receiver and all the weapons they have catching the ball. A little concerned about the running game. They do have Quinn Flowers,
Yep.
who can be versatile, and I think Mark Trestman's going to do a lot of versatile stuff with Tanner McEvoy as well. That'll throw off a lot of teams. So I think they just barely slip into the playoffs, and so it'll be the Vipers and Defenders. And
All
who's your
right.
team? The Battlehawks. Which
The
is another
Battlehawks.
interesting one. So
So,
go ahead.
as I said earlier, I think when you have good QBs, you win. And I think Jordan Ta'amu, now, you could maybe call this bias, I suppose, but I think Jordan Ta'amu is good. And I think they're going to win. I think he's going to make them win. So, it's going to be
I'd
great.
argue with you there,
What's up?
but we've had this argument. I said I'd argue with you there. We've had this
Okay.
argument many times.
What's going to be
Not
great?
seeing what you see. We don't even know if Ta'amu is going to start.
That's what I'm saying. What's going to be great is like the day after we release this episode or something, it'll be like Brogan Roback, name starter.
I think it'll be
And I'll be
Taylor
like,
Heineke,
well,
if anyone,
fuck
but
me. Yeah. And I'll just look like a
Heineke.
fool.
Heineke.
I think it's Heineke. Or maybe it's like Hink. I don't know. It's probably Heineke.
Hink.
I don't know, dude. I'm not good with
I've got a
names.
fourth name to throw in there. I always say Heineken, but now I'll say Hink.
Hink? Oh, fuck. That's definitely wrong. It's probably Heineke or Heineke.
I think it's Heineke.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like that choice
Okay.
as your team, but I can't fault you because we're gonna get into it. And that Eastern Conference is very top heavy.
Yeah.
there's one team is much better than the other teams. But all right, so our championship game. Who do you have winning? The East and the West.
So I have our championship game being the DC Defenders versus the LA Wildcats.
Wow, you have the LA Wildcats advancing. So I have the Renegades beating the Roughnecks. They're going there. And then I have the Defenders beating the Vipers. So it's going to be Renegades, Defenders. That was my prediction in our first episode. It's still my prediction. Renegades, Defenders, 2 best offenses, 2 solid defenses. And that'll be the championship game.
All right.
So I can't believe you have LA there.
I do.
But okay, so who do you have winning?
I have LA winning.
Oh my God!
I
wish we could make bets on this right now.
Oh, that technically would be an NCAA violation for me, so can't do it. Ha
I think you could bet on the XFL.
No, I can't bet on any professional sports that include former NCAA athletes.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
NCAA is crazy.
Well, maybe we'll do a little under the table something. We'll see.
Something. All right.
But I can't believe you have LA. I have the Defenders beating the Renegades in a very close game. I think this will be an absolute shootout and be a fun game to watch.
All right.
I can't believe you have LA. All right, let's do our over-unders.
Okay.
This will be more revealing, I think.
Yeah.
So we got these betting odds. These are the official betting odds. You can go to a casino and you can bet on these right now. I thought I was super confident about one of them. I'd be like, I'd put money on this. I wouldn't do that now after I've looked through their schedule. And I think these are pretty close to spot on, except I think they got the 3 top teams wrong.
All right.
So let's start with the Vipers, who they have their over-under set at 7.5. That's
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
7.5 over-under, so they think they'll win. Do you think they'll win 8 games or 7 games? All right, so for me, I'm betting the under here. I, after looking through their schedule, have them going 4-6. This is very under, so this is a bet I would make for the Vipers as an under. I'm assuming you're under as well.
I'm hammering the under. Maybe I'm an idiot, and maybe I'm not seeing something, but I don't know how they're projected to be the top team. Yeah, I don't want to say like this is easy money because then I am setting myself up for exposure, but like I really don't see what they're seeing. That's the odds. I'm hammering the under with the Vipers.
Here's the sad thing with the Vipers.
Yeah,
I project them at 4-6. Mm-hmm. And even at 4-6, they're the second best team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
So they play some easy competition. That number could go up just because they could blow out the other two.
You know what? Maybe that's what it is.
Both games to Defenders.
Because I did not take that into account. We'll kind of get to the other Eastern teams in a second, and I think we'll kind of figure it out a little more.
All right, let's move on then. So we're both taking the under for the Vipers. 7.5 is far too high.
Yes.
To think they're going to be the best team in the XFL is crazy, in my opinion.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the Renegades, who they have set at 6. This isn't a bad one, right? This is a safe one, but I'm taking the over here. I have them projected out at 8-2.
Yep, I would also take the over.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be one of the better teams
making the playoffs. So
in the whatever the other division that's not the Vipers, the West. Yes, that's the word.
The West.
No, West. Wild West.
The thing is, the West has 2 other teams. So the Roughnecks and the Renegades are both great teams, in my opinion. 2 other teams are easy competition. They'll probably sweep both their team.
Yep.
For me, I only have them losing twice, and I think I have them losing to the Roughnecks once. So I think the Roughnecks and the Renegades split. And then I think they lose their matchup against the Defenders. I think it's the other one I had. So that's the only teams they lose to. But it's at 8-2. I think they're the fact they have at 6. I mean, this is an easy over for me. I think it's a good line because they probably should have been 7.5.
Yeah.
But 6 is pretty high as well. But they could very well. There's 3 teams here that could very well not lose a game.
Yes.
And Renegades are one of them. I think you bet the over on this one.
Yeah.
For all the reasons we talked about before.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on. You bet the over on that. I bet the over on that.
Yes, that's correct.
We're moving on to the Roughnecks, who their line is set similar to the Renegades at 6. And I agree with this, not the win total, but I agree that they are equivalent teams. I think they're very equal.
All right.
So I have the Roughnecks probably because of schedule. I think they play the Defenders at home, so that I have them going 9-1. So I bet the over on this. I think they play the Defenders at home, whereas the Renegades played the Defenders on the road.
Yeah.
So I have them losing to the Roughnecks once. I mean, I have the Roughnecks losing the Renegades once when they go on the road to the Renegades, but they don't lose the Defenders, so I have them going 9-1. So they split with the Renegades, but they beat the Defenders, so 9 wins. That's an over for me.
Okay.
Great defense.
Yep.
Really potent passing attack. What do you think about the Roughnecks over under of 6?
I'm actually going to push this one.
You think 6 is a fair number?
I think 6 is a fair number. I still have some questions about their offensive personnel. You saw them in person, so I mean,
yes.
You probably have a more you definitely have a more informed opinion of them than I do. I'm just kind of looking at for what I know of those players. We still don't truly know who the starting quarterback is. It seems like they have
2 good options.
Yeah, it seems like they have a safe option in either Philip Walker or Connor Cook. But I don't know. I just have a lot of questions still about the Roughnecks, and if I'm proven wrong, fine. I don't necessarily trust Sammy Coates just because of his career in the past, but if he's gotten better, then great. But from what I know about, or at least what I think I know about the players right now, I'm going to say 6 wins is probably a fair thing there. I'd push that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yep.
These numbers are kind of weird because I think the fact that they don't have anyone projected higher than 7.5, and it's the Vipers that they have 7.5 seems crazy to me.
I think that they're kind of banking
on.
It's
very possible.
Yeah, I think it's possible as well. I think it's I think
one
so
of these
too.
teams go 10-0.
I think it's very possible too.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of banking on everyone kind of sucking a little bit in certain areas, since this is the XFL. So that's probably what's going on there. But
yeah, based on these over-unders, there's a lot of parity here.
yes,
But we'll see. I do think, for the most part, they got these pretty wrong.
Yeah, pretty wrong.
But so maybe this is good. I think if you're gonna bet, this is a perfect thing to bet on.
Yeah.
Because the bettors usually, people who make these numbers are so well informed. They're too well informed, and you're not gonna beat them.
Yeah.
I think they know about just as much as you do.
Yeah.
About what's going on here. So I think you bet this first season. It's a good time to bet.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Wildcats. They have them listed here at 4 wins, so I can already imagine you disagree with this.
Yes, I'm going to hammer the over on this.
After looking at their schedule, I have them going 4-6, so I'm pushing.
All right. Fair.
Lots of the problems I see, they do have a great quarterback. They have one great weapon at wide receiver. They have one great weapon, and everything else is in. They have no sort of running game. And
I disagree.
Their defense, though, I do like a few players, and I do like that they have a coach who's focused on defense. I don't know if there's enough talent there outside of the few players to get them over the hump just purely on defense. So that's gonna be why I'm pushing them here at 4-6. They play against the Renegades and the Roughnecks. That's 4 games.
Fair.
Against the Renegades and the Roughnecks. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and like I said, I think you're kind of. I think you have the same mentality about the Wildcats as I kind of do over the Roughnecks, because I think those are we kind of flip flopped our opinions on those. So while you're more positive about the Roughnecks, I'm more positive about the Wildcats. So
And
I think that's just where.
Why do you think it's because of Josh Johnson is the only reason?
Like I said, when you have good quarterbacks, you win.
But is that the only reason?
No. I think they have a good rushing attack. I think they have the 2 players that I really, really like rushing. They have Elijah Hood, of course.
Yeah, but he's not. I mean, he's a goal line guy. But
he's a goal line, but they also have a guy named Larry Rose, who I extremely like. I think they'll be fine. You are right that their wide receiver group is a little underwhelming. But I feel like they'll be able to make the most of it. I don't know. They seem like, outside of the Renegades, they seem like the most, I don't want to say complete team. I don't know. I just think they have the player and the personnel in certain areas that I think will put them above other teams, is all.
Yeah, I don't think they're awful.
Yeah,
I'll say that
I mean,
at
4-6,
wins,
that's not awful. That's really not bad.
At 4 wins, it's really a lot. I'm factoring that they're going to lose to the Renegades and the Roughnecks every time they play them.
Okay.
I think those teams are so good.
All right.
So that instantly gives them four losses. And then I think they play the Defenders. So that gives them 1 loss. And then I think I split them with the Guardians or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that ends up what... Oh, wait, no, they don't play the Guardians. So I don't know who I split them with. Who's the other... Oh, I think I split them with the Battlehawks.
Okay.
So I think that it's just more of the circumstance they're playing in it. If they were in the East, I think they get in over the Vipers, who I have at 4-6 as well. I think they're a better team than the Vipers. They just play in a harder conference.
Okay.
So that's why I have them ultimately at 4 and with the push. They could very well get up to 6 wins. This could very well be an over.
Yes.
I don't think it'll be an under. I don't think there's any way it can be an under.
Yeah.
But it can be an over, but I think it's going to be a push. I think they're going to end up with 4 wins.
Okay.
So, all right. Let's move on now to the Defenders. This one seems absolutely wrong to me.
Yeah, I don't.
They have
know
the
where this
line
came
set
from.
at 5.5. Mm-hmm. So.
So this has
Over.
So
right?
yeah, I mean this says that the Vipers have won more games than the Defenders while being in the same division.
Yes.
I don't think that's plausible even. So
No.
I'd hammer the over.
Yeah, I have them going 9-1.
Yeah.
So I don't see how they got 5-5 out of this. I think the Defenders are such a good team. Like maybe it's concerns about defense, but
I really think
they have one of the best running backs. Probably I put them as the best running back.
Yeah.
They have the best quarterback. They have a shit ton of great wide receivers. I don't know about their offensive line. Maybe these casino odds makers people know about all these players and like, well, he can't block, so their offensive line is. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think their defense is fine. It's not top tier. It's not top 3.
But it's
top 5.
Yeah. Like it's top 5 in an 8-man league. So I mean.
Yeah. So
or 8 not man.
You know, you got such a good offense. If your defense is at least serviceable, you should win a shit ton of games. I have them going 9-1. I think I have them losing to maybe the Roughnecks. Yeah, I have them losing to the Roughnecks. So
Okay.
Once, because they go to the Roughnecks. They go to Houston and lose that game. So I'm betting the over. You're betting the over.
Yeah, hammer the over.
All right, moving on. Guardians. This one should be a good topic. I'm curious to see what you say about this. They have the line set at 4 wins. What are you doing here?
I'm pushing.
You're pushing at 4 wins.
Yes.
Why is that?
I think that they'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think they'll be one of those teams that wins like a game, like steals a game where they shouldn't win it, like on paper at all. Just because, I don't know, I feel like they're kind of, I don't want to say like the most underrated team in the league, but I just feel like they don't have a lot of known name value, especially on offense. So I feel like there's a lot of just like players that people don't necessarily know and haven't necessarily seen perform, and I think they'll do all right. They definitely have limitations. Like I said, their wide receiver room is underwhelming. Their running back room, while I do like Justin Stockton, is not exactly eye-popping. And they just kind of seem okay on defense. They have a really good linebacking core. But I think they're okay. I think they're going to be all right.
Right. I have the under here.
Okay.
I want to look at my list real quick because I have them going 2-8.
Yeah.
I want to see who I have them beating real quick. Let me see. Okay, so I have them beating the Battlehawks when they're at home. So the Battlehawks are coming to the Guardians. They lose that. I mean, they beat the Battlehawks there. And, okay, let me move on. So the Battlehawks, I probably have them splitting. Let's see. Do we see Guardians again? Because I have them getting only 2 wins, so I want to see who else I put them over. And then I have them splitting with the Dragons. So that's where their 2 wins comes. They split with those 2 teams. They're not going to beat the Defenders. They're going to lose both time Defenders. And I think they end up playing the Roughnecks and the Renegades, if I'm right.
Okay.
So that doesn't help them either.
Yeah.
From the Western Conference. So that would be why I would put... Actually, I think they play the Vipers. They play the Vipers at home. So I just think they're in the Eastern Conference. I think they have... This one I could be wrong about. This is the one I'm most unsure about. I think this is the team because they're a very solid team.
Yeah.
They could end up being like 5 wins and split the season. But I have them at 2 here, just going off gut feeling.
Yeah.
Their defense is one of the best defense. I think that's a top 3 defense.
Yeah. I want to
but-
piggyback off something you said, in that they're kind of the team I'm most unsure about.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of adds a lot to me thinking, well, like they're going to be all right, or at least okay, because I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Matt McGloin is proven.
yeah, he's proven to be okay.
The problem here is if it was like just going off gut, because I know you're just going off gut here.
Yes,
Like,
you're
you didn't
actually
go-
going
you
off
didn't-
record.
You
Which
you didn't go through the schedule and
I
make
did
sure
not.
it worked.
That is correct.
So like, it's gonna. I feel like mine's gonna sound worse because you could.
Yours might
if
be
you
more-
wanted, you could go. Well, they're gonna go. You could say every team's over. if you
Yeah,
wanted.
exactly. I think you're going to be, and I mean that is something I probably should have done before the show, but I just didn't think about it. But I don't know. Maybe it's good to have the contrast.
Yeah, because like by gut feeling, I would say they're a 5-1 team, but when I go through their schedule, it's like I just think they end up being 2-8, and
Yeah.
they could get up to 3-7, I guess. Maybe they could end up sweeping the Battlehawks. Maybe they could end up sweeping the Dragons. Or not the Dragons. Maybe they could end up sweeping the Battlehawks. And they could beat the Vipers. So they could go up, but I think 2-8 made the most sense for me.
All right.
So I have them. I'm going the under here.
Okay.
I like their defense, but I have some questions about that offense. I do like Matt McGloin, but I have questions about his weapons. So, all right, let's move on to your team.
All right.
The Battlehawks at 3.5 wins is the over/under. I imagine where you're going with this.
Yes, I'm going to say over for sure. And kind of, I really do like the Battlehawks' personnel. And I mean, everyone who listens to the show, big Jordan Tamu guy. And as I've been saying, when you have good quarterbacks, you win football games. And I think Jordan Tamu is going to be very successful. So I can maybe see them not having necessarily like a fantastic record like that pops off the screen, but I could see them being better than the other two teams that are not the Wildcats in that division. So, or not the Wildcats.
Being better than the.
I fucked up again. I fucked up my divisions again. So it's the Battlehawks, the Guardians, right, and
yes,
the Roughnecks.
No,
the Vipers and I'm an idiot.
And Defenders.
Yeah, I could see them being the second team out of all of those for sure. I don't think the Vipers are going to be very good. I think the Guardians are going to be just okay. So yeah. I would say the over on 3.5 I think is reasonable. I mean, if I'm wrong about Jordan Ta'amu and I'm just wrong about some other things, then yeah, they'll be probably worse than that because their supporting cast otherwise doesn't really speak to a winning record. But if I'm right about Jordan Ta'amu, then I think they'll win some football games.
Right. So I'm going the under here. I got them at 2-8.
All right.
It's I don't trust their offense whatsoever.
Fair. I mean,
problem.
Like I said, like the whole reason that I believe that they'll do fine is that I do think they're going to do well offensively.
Yeah.
So,
I think we just disagree on that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Jordan Ta'amu's as good as you do.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if he'll end up starting.
Like I said, it'll come out a couple days after this episode that Jordan Ta'amu has been released by.
See, I don't know if he'll be released, but
well, I mean, it's just something absurd like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going the under here. They have some players on their defense I do like. Their secondary's great, but it's they got a couple players and then as like a whole defensive unit, I'm not blown away. I don't like their weapons too much. So they have some decent guys, but no one like the other teams.
Yeah.
They might be equivalent to me in terms of like the Guardians, except I think Matt McGloin's better.
Okay. I mean, that's a fair, that's a logical thought process. So, I mean.
So that's why I'd go the under here. 3.5 is so low, though. That I wouldn't tell anyone to bet this.
Yeah.
Because I got them at 2-8, so it's very possible they end up with 4 wins, and then this isn't one I'd bet. But yeah, it really literally comes down to the offense for me, and their defense isn't enough to make up for their offense. Whereas like the Wildcats, I don't think they have I think they have a great quarterback and they have one really great weapon on offense, and then otherwise they're not good. But their defense should be so good that it shouldn't be a problem, and they'll end up with 4 wins instead of 2.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put the under on the Battlehawks because that's how the math worked out, I guess.
Yep.
So, all right, let's move on to our last team we're gonna talk about, and then we'll do like best bets.
Sure.
All right, we'll pick like 2 teams, 2 bets you should make on this list. But we can't. Okay, well I'll explain it more. But let's just do the Dragons.
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, so the Dragons, their number set at 3.5, like the Battlehawks. I'm going under here. I think they're easily the worst team in the XFL.
Yeah. I'm going under as well. I don't think that they have a quarterback right now. No offense to my honorable son Brandon Silvers or BJ Daniels, but
BJ Daniels is decent.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're also similar to the Guardians and a team I have the most questions about, but they also don't have Matt McGloin. They have Brandon Silvers and BJ Daniels. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to be very good. That's all.
I think they have a good rushing attack, and I think BJ Daniels is pretty good. But he's still bottom tier compared to some of the other quarterbacks.
Yes.
He ends up starting. I think Brandon Silvers is. I've expressed this. I don't think Brandon Silvers is all that great.
All right.
Their defense leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
Just from what I've seen.
Yes.
Like literally in that preseason game, all the highlights, like the coverage is not good.
Yeah.
Like it's really not good.
Yeah.
So, I'm concerned. This is a team that could end up going 0-10, I think, which would be sad.
I don't know. That's rough.
But I think I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I think they split games with who do they split with? I don't know. I'm not gonna look through it. But they end up 2-8. So I'm going the under. Yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
Yep. I agree.
All right, so let's do it. Let's do our best bet. So how I figured this should work, it'll be like a draft style. Like, let's flip a coin,
Okay.
and you pick one, then I pick one, then you pick one, or like whatever the order ends up being. We'll pick 2 each, so we can't pick the same ones.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
All right, let me do a flip the coin thing, all right? So this is what you would tell people to bet on, the thing you're
All right.
most certain about. And the reason I'm making it where you get to have to pick because it would be so obvious. All right, pick heads or tail.
Tails never fails.
All right, it's heads.
Oh, fuck me. All right.
It seems to always fail.
Yes.
All right. For my first pick, it's going to be the Vipers 7.5 under. That's the best bet here.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your best bet?
We're not just strictly doing the under overs. We can do.
No, it's got to be under overs.
Oh, it's got to be the under overs. Okay. I would say my best bet is hammer the over on the DC Defenders.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. All right, I'm gonna make it hard for you because the next obvious one,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the over on the Renegades as the best bet.
All right. Well, then I really have no choice but to say over on the Wildcats.
Yeah, I figured that's where you'd go. All right.
Yeah.
So, for us, the 4 best bets are the Vipers under, the Renegades over, the Defenders over, and the Wildcats over. So that's our 4 best bets, and that's our show, right?
Yeah, that's it, man.
All right. Wow, this one was long, huh?
Yeah, this is one of our long ones because we did have 15 minutes of amazing questions.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Let's shout out their names again. Let me go back.
Yes,
to
it was
email.
Mr.
Thank
Geiger
you guys,
and
Joe Geiger and Ryan Heavey. I might be
Ryan
saying both
Heavey.
names wrong.
well, maybe if we did, send us another email saying how stupid we are.
So thanks so much for sending us questions, guys. If you guys want to send questions and have them answered on the show, DM us on Twitter at XFL Extra Point. Follow us there. Or you can send us an email, extrapointcontact@gmail.com. And we'll read them on the show like we did this week. If you guys want to head over to the YouTube channel, you can comment there, and I respond to most comments unless they're like something I think it'd be like disingenuous or not disingenuous. It wouldn't be genuine for me to respond to them. I would just be like if someone will say like, "Go Wildcats," like what am I gonna respond to that? I'll like it though. But if you say something I feel like I can respond to, I'll respond to it if you comment on YouTube. So do that. Go on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like anything you can interact with on whatever app you use, whether that be Apple Podcasts, whether that be Spotify, whether that be Anchor, whether that be what else is there? Podbean. Whether that be
Podbean.
Libsyn. Yes, Podbean.
Okay.
So interact, like it, comment, rate, whatever you do, just do it. But thanks.
If you're listening on Podbean, let us know.
Yeah, if you listen on Podbean, send us an email. But thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next week. And next week, you know what the next week's going to be?
It's the start of the season, baby.
It's going to be our last 1 episode a week
That's right.
of the year. So we're going to do our Monday show, which will be our preview of the upcoming weekend. And then from there on out, it's going to be Monday and Friday, Monday, Friday, Monday, Friday.
That is right.
So if you guys enjoyed this format, sucks because there's only one more left of it.
Idiots.
And it's going to be less. It's going to be less like the episodes have been in the past, where they've been like random things we come up with. It's going to be we're going to preview, we're going to recap. Maybe here and there we'll throw in a special little segment, but it's going to be previews and recaps. So
I think during the season we'll have a lot more content where it's kind of quick shot material on our YouTube for more like player scouting, I suppose.
So if you like our player profiles, if you like our rankings, head over to the YouTube because that's where those will be going. Since we'll kind of have to be getting away from that on the podcast.
Yes.
When the season starts. So
Yes.
keep an eye out. All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. It was great. This was episode 13. And I've been Justin. I'm here with Thomas. Thomas, say something that means goodbye.
Still rip Kobe Bryant, and goodbye.
This is